Come on, All right, welcome to the podcast. This is episode 8 of the Puck Boys podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about underperformers, but first, I've heard say of a little story about an underperformer in our lives. Derek, what happened?
Well, me and my good pal, Al Reed, we recently hung out. We live together. We hang out basically every fucking day.
You're married?
Yeah, common law, whatever. I got given some Canucks tickets, thought, let's take Alex. That'll be fun. So we get down there. Alex is just cut. He is probably 12 out of 10 drunk. We sit down in our seats, and who's behind us? A couple of Philly fans wearing Philly jerseys, and the guy's got a Mike Myers mask on backwards, so you know he's a psychopath already.
If he wasn't already a fucking Philly fan.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a psychopath, and he's a Philly fan. The entire game, every time something happens, Alex just gives this guy all the shit you could possibly imagine. He's just letting him have it left and right. They fucking miss a pass, and Alex turns it all the way around and goes, better luck next time. Better luck next time. By the end of it, these guys were not pleased. That went on for 3.5 hours. We're walking out of the arena, and the guy comes up behind Alex on the stairs and actually gives him a little shove. So he tries to push Alex down the stairs. This guy is probably 50 years old. So we're not actively pursuing this because that's not a good idea.
We don't condone this.
We don't condone that. We're good guys. We don't scrap in our seats very often.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And so we get outside, and I turn around because I see a guy that I know. I'm just about to say hi to him, and then I hear a small clap, and the guy's fist just connects with Alex's teeth. It was unreal. All of a sudden there's a big skirmish. Everyone's screaming and yelling. 45 people in between us. Awesome Canucks game.
Great seats.
And that's the best game I ever saw.
And they won.
Fucking Philly fans.
Did Alex retaliate, or was it a one-punch deal?
There was a little small back and forth, but we were in the hallway at Rogers Arena, so within 13 seconds there was about 55 people between them. And it's probably for the best. I mean, this guy was old as dirt, so if Alex would have connected, it could have been bad. So, all in all, it was a win of a night. And
Alex could connect?
Probably not, but
you can't connect with you, James.
Yeah,
but
that's true. That's true.
How are his teeth?
Oh, he looks great. Not a scratch on him.
Good.
That's because he knows he doesn't want to ruin that handsome mug of his.
All right. Well, shout out to Alex.
Do you think that Philly fan likes Bill Burr?
Yeah, that fucking... You're talking about the rant where he goes off, 15 minutes, 12 minutes.
I hope you all fucking die. You're all going to die from cancer.
If you don't know what's being referenced, just go type in Bill Burr Philadelphia. You will not regret it.
It's shitty quality, but it's fucking worth
It's
it. Every
amazing.
second of it is so good.
It's a classic. All right, so moving on. Let's talk about some fantasy hockey now. So underperformers this year. Who's a guy on your team right now who's hurting you? Who's a good guy you put some capital into, but he's not producing?
Where do we begin?
Shane fucking Gus Duspierre.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I can't get rid of him quick enough.
I keep sending you offers for him, though.
Not good ones.
That's because I'm trying to send you my underperformers, too.
I'm not happy with my Dallas boys. My two keepers are Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn, and Dallas in general is just shitting the bed right now. Klingberg shitting the bed right now. So Dallas in general is doing poorly.
One thing we kind of talked about last week about the scheduling, last episode was the scheduling in the league right now has been kind of weird. So Artemi Panarin, right now in our league, he's ranked 275th.
275?
But he has 4 points in 3 games. He's only played 3 games at this point in time. So he's a guy who's underperforming, but I think that's going to turn around just when the scheduling starts working in his in his favor. And I think there's quite a few guys that are being hit by that. New York hasn't played a lot of games, and there's a few other teams that are playing less than half than some other teams. So make sure you're looking at that little number, the games played, before you dish one of these guys.
I wish Dallas only played 4 games, but at this time they've played 8 games and they've only won once. They have not done well. So that's Ben Bishop for you. No, Ben Bishop hasn't. I think he only has 1 win, and Khudobin has losses across the board. So, I hear what you're saying. If your team's only played 3 or 4 games, but Dallas has been shitting the fucking bed right now.
I tried to trade Goudreau off to a buddy of ours in the pool for Ben Bishop last night, and he was pretty buckled, so I was hoping that he was just going to go for it, but again, no bueno.
No fly zone. One guy I was really hoping for, since he had a great year last year, was Eric Gustafsson with Chicago. And one interesting thing with him, so he started the season, played 25 minutes. Second game, he played 23. Now he's down to 16.
Really?
So I think when you look at the minutes played, and if the coach is, taking 10 minutes off of his ice time, I think that's a pretty bad sign.
Yeah.
He was good last year. I had him
Yeah.
last year, and he was killing it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't kept an eye on him, but how would you say, 16 minutes?
Yeah, he's down to 16.
Wow.
Started his first game, he played 25.
That's a tough look.
Yeah, it's a
What
tough
did he?
look.
What did he do?
I don't know. But I'm
Got a
just
little
looking
close to the coach's wife. I bet.
I don't know.
Well, he's a new coach, so I mean that's important to point out. You never know. Some coaches like certain players and some don't. So they do have a new coach now in Chicago, start of the season. So he's on the third pairing right now with Calvin DeHaan, and but he is on the power play. So I think you gotta hope that power play starts clicking, because Chicago right now is not done that great on the power play. So that's something to note.
Yeah, so underperforming teams, I think the big one team that we were all kind of excited for, I thought they were going to be really good, are the Devils, New Jersey. They, at this point in time, they've played 6 games, they have 4 losses and 2 overtime losses.
Does Jack Hughes have a point yet?
I think he has a point, but from what we've been hearing, it sounds like there is the potential of him actually going to be sent down, and he's too young to be playing in the AHL, which means he has to go back to juniors or to development, wherever the fuck he came from. But
U.S. development.
U.S. development, man, that would be so painful to see a guy like Jack Hughes sent down this early.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just happens in people's rookie seasons. We saw it with Tavares. We saw it with Stamkos. He's just on the same sort of path where he just needs to find his ground. Jack Hughes will ultimately, same with Capo Caco, but going back to only playing 3 games compared to the 6 to 8. But I don't know, man. I hope to see Jack Hughes for the rest of the season.
So one of the things that's hurting New Jersey right now is they've yet to score a power play goal on 18 chances. So that 0% is hurting them right now. And Taylor Hall, I mean, he's supposed to be the leader of this team. He is, the leading scorer most years on his teams. He has 5 points in 6 games. So he's doing his part, but he has 0 power play points. So I mean that will help the team for sure.
They also got to get their backstops. They got to get them going. Corey Schneider is just he's killing it, and in the worst possible
in the
way.
bad way. In the bad way, yeah.
Him and Blackwood couldn't save a beach ball. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and PK Subban hasn't scored yet. And not that he should be scoring the bulk of their goals, but he's a guy that they want to rely on, and he's playing a lot of minutes. He's playing 23, 24 minutes a night, and right now he only has 2 points on the season in 6 games. So not a good start for him. He's only shot 10 times in 6 games. So you would think he'd try and get that slapper off more often, but yeah, in general, New Jersey not doing too good, eh?
Do we think that there's a turnaround there? I mean, they brought in a lot of new guys. First overall pick in the draft, Gusev came over, Subban came in. That's a lot of big key pieces who weren't there last year. Do you think they kind of get it all together, or do you think they were just overhyped before the season?
Maybe they can turn around. They still have really talented players in Nikita Gusev and Wayne Simmons.
They've got to turn around. There's just too many pieces there.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Hughes, doesn't have a point yet. So, that's a guy that, was considered to be going for the Rookie of the Year award. So they got to get him going. But not only that, Nico Hischier. What happened to this guy? I mean, he's supposed to be their stud, and he's only playing 16 minutes a night right now. So
highly coveted weapon, can't score.
Yeah. Their best player right now is Blake Coleman.
Who's a beauty. I love Blake Coleman. I'm pretty high up on Blake Coleman. But our problem is we generally just look at the names and expect them to do well. When you see a team with a lot of recognizable names that you're like, oh yeah, now that I see PK Subban, Jack Hughes, Taylor Hall, all these guys on one team, it doesn't mean they're going to have chemistry together. And especially when you have expectations for a goalie like Schneider, who he's been in the dark for so long. Mackenzie Blackwood, he kind of popped his head around the corner. He's like, hey, I'm here too. And he hasn't proven anything. We can't justify it this early in the season, but it's pretty disappointing to see a team like New Jersey and where they're standing, where they have not won a game, where these guys that are expected to perform are not performing. I do expect them to turn it around, and I'm putting it down to saying, watch them go on a fucking 10-game winning streak, because it's about time.
As soon as Taylor Hall heats up, absolutely.
I feel like there's a bet there, Spen. I don't think those guys have a 10-game winning streak in them.
I have a gambling problem when it comes to this shit, because I love, as fucking my brother says, high risk, high reward. I will always go for it, and I will take you on that bet.
10 games.
10
winning streak.
10-game winning streak.
Just not losing. So overtime losses included.
I'll take you for 20 on that one.
Dude,
All right. We just shook on it. $20. That's by the end of the season.
by the end of the season.
I'll up the ante,
Thanks for the
Spen,
money.
because I'm a sadistic bastard.
All right.
I have some extremely hot sauce.
Oh, we didn't make the bet.
I saw them shake.
I'm not paying all you motherfuckers if they don't win.
No. I'll say you and me will bring on some of this capsaicin extract, and not a shot. That's stupid. A tablespoon. If they do go on a 10-game winning streak, I'll do a tablespoon of it, and it'll ruin my day. Maybe my next day as well.
Yeah.
And if they don't, you have to do one as well.
It'll ruin your insides, that's for sure.
And I've got weak insides. The weakest insides you'll ever see.
Not as weak as Alex's teeth.
No.
Ooh.
No, his... Yeah. Just a big old for Al. Underperformer of the year.
Underperformer right now is my boy Braden Holtby. This is not good. Braden Holtby has only started 4 of their 7 games, and Samsonov, this young goalie, rookie,
Samsonov.
Sergei Samsonov. He's back.
Samsonov.
He has 3 wins, and Braden Holtby is yet to get a win this year.
How did Braden's last game go, James?
Did not go well.
How many shots?
He had 3 goals against.
Oh, yeah, 3 goals, 3 shots.
Yes.
Hell of a game.
Yeah, and I was making fun of him about Corey Schneider laying in 4 goals in the last period, and then Braden Holtby didn't start off.
It was justice.
Didn't start off right. So I still have confidence in Braden Holtby. He's going to be able to turn it around, but it is concerning. So don't hit that panic button just yet, but
Just hit the pen.
But fuck, Braden Holtby, figure it out. I had to pick up his backup just in case, and lucky I did because he started the next game. So
And they it's the Capitals.
yeah,
They'll have their ups and downs. He'll still easily should still have 25, 30 wins.
and I remember right before they won the Stanley Cup, Braden Holtby was not the starter going into the playoffs. It was
That's
Phil
right, yeah.
Grubauer.
He was just a farm boy.
Yeah, farm
was
boy,
it?
fucking farm boy. But
I want that farm boy.
yeah, so this has happened before where he's kind of lost his way, and then he comes back better than ever, and so I'm hoping that happens soon. They gave him a little extra rest, so I'm hoping his next start, he gets a W. But I am worried about Braden Holtby.
You'll be fine with Holtby, man. Holtby's going to fucking crush it like he always does.
I think it's rather rare when you get a guy who's a star who just falls off that cliff. I mean, we saw it with Corey Schneider, but that doesn't really happen all that often. It's usually a guy kind of gets back to where he was before. So someone like Holtby, I think you should be okay. So I just want to list off a couple guys who are underperforming right now, and I want to know, is this just a slow start, or is this a bad omen and there's someone you should get rid of if they're on your team as soon as possible? First guy, Joe Pavelski. He got a goal in his last game at the point of we're recording this, but he has only 1 goal and 1 assist so far this season. He has been grossly underperforming with his new team. Is this going to be the trend for this year, or is this just a blip?
Yeah, there's no way. Joe Pavelski is going to perform this season. And as I said as my Stanley Cup prediction, the Dallas Stars, bold prediction, but I have to stand with my fucking ground on this. They are going to make it, and Joe Pavelski is going to help lead the way. I can't see him, Jamie Benn, nor Tyler Seguin or Rupe. Those guys are going to fucking take them all the way. Same with Ben Bishop.
You know what? I'm not a big fan of Joe Pavelski right now. Yeah, he just got his first goal, but this guy only has 2 points in 8 games. I don't remember him having such a slow start like this. He's 34 years old. He went to a new team for a reason, for the money. And he was, you know what? I really like how he said that. He went to this team because he wanted the money. I don't know what's going on, but Rupe has taken that second line spot, and Radulov is still, a good player. So I really hope he does better, but I don't think he's going to be anywhere near his career averages. I think this is going to be a career low for Joe Pavelski. I don't think this is going to end well for him, and I think he's going to regret leaving San Jose.
Do you think now is the time to be on either side of that trade spectrum, though? Is he somebody that you want to be trading from your team, or vice versa? Is he somebody that you want to be picking up in these slow days?
Well, yeah, I'd probably trade for him. I think there's high reward there. There is high risk though. So, but if I have Joe Pavelski, no fucking way am I trading him away right now. Like he hasn't. We're too early into the season to do something like that. He just scored his first goal, so you gotta hold off a little bit longer. But I don't know. It's kind of tough. Like anybody on Dallas. If you can trade for anybody on Dallas right now, do it.
Do it now.
Do it now because I think they're going to have a turnaround. I think that they're going to bounce back.
All right, so another guy that I wanted to talk about is Claude Giroux. He has 2 assists in 5 games at this point.
He's
I mean,
killing me.
The one real interesting thing about Giroux, at least in our league, is that he plays every forward position. He's a center, a left wing, and a right wing, which gives him that little extra value boost because he gives you a lot of flexibility in your lineup. So is he a guy that you are looking to buy low right now?
Absolutely.
I've already sent it. Well, because I fucking sent an offer for everybody. Another guy I tried to flip fucking Goudreau for was for Claude Giroux. He has those multi-positions. He's a versatile kind of guy. He's somebody that will get you those, in our league, how we set up the points. He might only get you a quarter point or half a point, while another night he can get you, 5 to fucking 12.
Well, he scores 90 plus real points every year almost.
Yeah, and I don't know the exact statistic, but in the past 10 years, Claude Giroux's been one of the top 5 guys in points in the NHL.
If he's a guy that you can somehow buy low on, for sure go for him.
You have to go for Claude Giroux.
So what's going on right now with Philadelphia in fantasy? Because all of their top guys are big underperformers. Sean Couturier, he is way down there right now. He has 2 points at point of recording. And Voracek as well. I think he only has 1 point. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Gostisbehere, he's been bad as well. Is there going to be a turnaround with Philly, or is what's going on there?
Yeah, I think so. They're one of those teams that hasn't played a lot. They've only played 4 or 5 games up to this point. So as opposed to other teams that have played, 8 or 9 games. So I think that, we're looking into this. I think we're overreacting a little bit too much on Philly. I still really like Philly. I think they have depth. So I'm not too worried.
The bits of that Philly game that I did see in between Alex being punched, they weren't looking good. I can't see them being any better than a wild card team. I don't see the turnaround. I don't see it.
I'm on the opposite side of you guys. I think that they will turn it around. And this is once again going back to seeing these names on paper when they have James Van Riemsdyk, JVR. Travis Konechny looks like another breakout kind of guy because he's playing bigger minutes and he's putting up the points. He's proving himself again early, but I think that they are destined to make the playoffs and have a decent enough run.
I mean, 7 points in 4 games is pretty good for Travis Konechny.
It's a good duo with, having Carter Hart as their starter and Brian Elliott as a backup. Brian Elliott has shown in his career that as the guy who doesn't have to take on the number 1 role is a reliable player.
And I will say, I was throwing some shade, over the Matt Niskanen the other day, but as a real player, he's a great depth defenseman. He really shores up that defense that they have there. And Ivan Provorov is a good young defenseman who I think is going to work out. And, if Gostisbehere can do fucking anything, I think this team's going to turn around.
And my boy, Robert Hagg.
Robert Hagg. What Hagg? Yeah, Philly. Kevin Hayes is a little overpaid, but I still really like Kevin Hayes. I think he's in a banger league. I really like him. He He shoots, he hits. So, and I drafted him. So, of course I like him. But
naturally.
One guy that we know that we all like as well is Phil Kessel. He hasn't gone off to the hottest start in the desert. I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement that's just a slow start. He's going to get it together.
It's a new system. He's still Phil, and he's going to rip the league up. That's all there is.
He just
to
has to find the best hot dog place in town. It's like,
you know what?
it's like Popeye with spinach. He'll get it together.
He probably hasn't found the good dogs yet.
He hasn't found the good dogs. One guy, though, I don't know. I'm probably going to put my foot in my mouth here. One guy who I think might be getting to the end of his fantasy relevancy is Jonathan Toews. He had a good year last year, but he's a guy who kind of isn't. I feel like he gets overdrafted and overvalued in trades because of his name, but there's so many other centers who can do what he do that are smaller names that are just as good of value. So what do you guys think about him? Would you try to buy him low at this point in the season, or are you avoiding him?
Oh, I wouldn't buy him. No, if he's on your team, I would keep him on your team. If he's not, you could throw some offers out, but as a single center kind of guy on a team that's starting to look like they're in a sort of rebuild, but not really. They're just steadily climbing the ropes. But I think Jonathan Toews is still a good guy. I think he still has a few good years left in him.
He's got some good years.
He had a great year last year.
He absolutely tore it up last
year.
year.
He had 81 points in 82 games, but before that, he had gone down in points pretty much every year since 2014. And he was a guy who was kind of being kept by some guys in our league, and we're kind of like, oh, that's a bad keeper.
I still have a bad taste in my mouth because I kept Jonathan Toews over Brent Burns.
That's a bad keep.
And I'm still paying for it to this day.
So I don't think he'll get back to 81 again. I mean, that was a career high last year for him at the age of 30, which is pretty uncommon. I don't think he'll get back there. I think he's going to be a 50-point center, but I don't think if he gets offered to you in a trade and you see that name and he's obviously one of the better players in the league, he's got the C on his chest in Chicago, he's won a bunch of cups, I'd say avoid him. I just think there's better guys you could get for cheaper.
I don't think that this is going to be his year to be on your team, but I don't think this is the last year where he's fantasy relevant.
No. Players like Giordano last year, career highs at 35 years old. So, I mean, anything's possible. And Jonathan Toews, he's playing with DeBrincat and Kane. So,
yeah, I'm gonna take a different opinion on this. I really like Toews. I've always liked Toews. He has a 14% shooting percentage of his career. When he shoots the puck, he's confident in what he's doing. 35 goals last year is fucking awesome. And yeah, will he do that again? No, but he only has 1 point right now in 4 games. So again, this is a very small sample size. I don't think anyone should overreact for Chicago. They've only had 9 opportunities on the power play, and they've scored twice. Jonathan Toews is going to be a part of that. So, I think this team is going to bounce back. They have a lot of young talent. And Alex Nylander, who, I'm not really sold on him too much, but Dylan Strome, a lot of these other guys, I think they're going to do well. And DeBrincat is a star, and Patty Kane is amazing. So if Toews plays with Patty Kane, then his value goes
sky's
up.
the limit.
Yeah.
And since Jonathan Toews right now, his numbers, he's dropping down day by day. Mm-hmm. If you do see him on waivers and you do have a center position to fill, I would jump on that. I would take the risk. Let him sit there for a couple weeks. If he's not doing it, you could always offer him up in a trade, or just drop him. But I genuinely believe that Jonathan Toews, in my opinion, is one of the smartest hockey players ever to play the game. Mm-hmm. He's a fucking brilliant guy, has an incredible hockey sense. So he's not going anywhere mentally. He's right there. He could be right in his prime because he's coming up to a point in his career where he's like, oh shit, I'm going to be having to play a different position than I've always been known to play. This isn't me as a kid anymore. This is me as a man.
And remember last year, Chicago looked fucking dreadful, the first half of the season. And then all of a sudden they started to turn it on.
Johnny T and Kane ripping it up.
They were ripping it up. They were fucking shit up. And they almost made the playoffs again. And, they were working for that. So I think, don't overreact right now. I think this, I kind of want to open this up a little bit more. to value of players right now, and should you hold on to players for the second half of the season? Because there's some players that fucking suck at the beginning. Like, I've drafted Derek Stepan twice now, 2 years in a row, and I drop him twice. I've dropped him twice now, and I don't care because he doesn't do anything in the first half of the season. And then, then I see him on someone else's team doing well later in the, back half of the, the year. So hold on to some of your players. Think about your draft. Think about where you drafted those players. Hold on to them because there's value there.
The thing about holding on to some of those guys too, I agree. You should be keeping them on your team for an extended period of time rather than jumping boat and be like, fuck that guy, I don't want him on my team anymore. That can totally fuck you over though, because if you hold on to a guy for too long and it's like, I think he's going to do better, he has to do better, he's going to come back, and he never does, it's really going to put you into hot water.
Yeah, because then the guys like in some of the other leagues, guys like Olofsson, guys who are having these really hot starts, you're not dropping one of your guys like Derek Stepan for someone like Olofsson, let's say, and then at the end of the year, you're really going to regret it. So that's always kind of the decision that you have to weigh, and we've all made those mistakes before.
Oh, we have.
So I'm going to ask you, and we can get a little bit personal here, because, we are in the same pool. Who's the next guy on your chopping block? Because there's a couple guys for me where I'm kind of getting a little bit fed up, and they're hurting my team a little bit. One of them is who we mentioned before, Ivan Provorov with Philly. He's just not giving me anything at this point in time. So he's not a guy that you want to cut, but he might be a guy that I'm looking to trade because I don't know how much longer I want to hold on to him.
My guy on the chopping block right now is Michael Furlan. Derek called it. You go to the Canucks, and you're more than likely going to score 7 goals on the fucking season.
It's where you go to die.
Yeah. So, well, lately, I think they're turning it around. I think Canucks they have a bright future. But yeah, Michael Furlan. What I don't like about this, and a tip out there for you guys new to fantasy, is look how many minutes these guys are playing. Furlan played 17 minutes in his first game, and then right after that, he started playing 10, 11, 12 minutes a night. That's not enough for him to be effective. It's not enough for him to really get you any points. He's playing on the 4th line right now, or the 3rd line. And I think the only reason why he hasn't been healthy scratch is because they just signed him to a contract. He hasn't been playing very well. And I thought he might have some magic with Elias Pettersson, but it's just not working out.
My guy, I actually just chopped him. It was Cam Talbot.
Oh,
picked him. I was hoping, this could be it. A big first game. If he got a shutout, maybe let 1 or 2 goals in, made 30 to 40 saves. That could be the start of something.
Now, you guys were in trade talks, you and Spencer, for Talbot. So, Spenny, did you pick him up?
Not yet. He was a toss-in. Like, for that trade, yeah, like I am considering picking him up. I'm running with 4 goalies right now, which leads me to my guy on my chopping block, who's Jonathan Quick right now. But I just really think it's too early. Jack Campbell, he's the one that's performing. He's the one that's getting them the wins. But when I single-handedly lose the fucking week to Jim by, 1.5, 2 points? Woo! And how many points did Jonathan Quick, Jay Quick, Johnny Q, how many points did he get for me? Minus 3.3. So, yeah, it's a serious option for me to be dropping Quick and picking up Talbot because nobody else has any need to pick up Talbot. And I can run 4 goalies, but 2 of them are swapping nights, and it's a good team like Calgary.
Calgary stack's it's a good play.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep throwing out a few more trades, but that's just who I am.
Yeah, you know what? I don't feel bad for you at all. Absolutely not, because I left a Carter Hart shutout on my bench, and it was because I went up north, for work, and good for Bella Bella. They have a new big house, so just
for
shout
people
out
who
to
don't
Bella
know,
Bella, but,
James illegally hunts whales.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
He takes their fins and sells them at the night market.
I love whale blubber.
He's in the business of shark fin soup.
Oh yeah.
You're the villain of this podcast, James.
You're a piece of shit.
Okay. Well, I left 15 points on the bench, okay? I was, in the middle of nowhere, and no offense, but yeah, I left 15 points on my bench.
You fucked up.
I fucked up, and I thought I was going to lose. And so on the last day, on the Sunday, I picked up, who did I pick up? Benoit. the fucking backup goalie for Winnipeg, and I was just thinking, well, I need a goalie. Let's just do it. Bois.
Laurent Bois.
Brassois, not Benoit.
Oh yeah, not Benoit.
Gamer,
Sorry.
come on, buddy.
You know what? Who gives a fuck? I'm never gonna pick up this motherfucker again. You got me -2 points, okay? So
Classic.
fuck him. And the only reason I won is thank God for Mark Stone, okay? He scored against Jonathan Quick right at the end there, and that's what won it for me. So I don't feel bad for you at all.
You fucking ruined my Thanksgiving dinner, okay? Watching that game on my little phone, trying to keep away from family, just saying, oh, man. Actually, no, I was sitting right with my family. It's just we had another game on the bigger TV.
The villain of the podcast, ruining Thanksgiving. What's next? You're going to steal Christmas. All right, that's
I hate Christmas. I hate it.
I hate it.
I hate
Christmas is draft day, okay?
You fucking right.
All right, let's wrap it up there. That's it for the podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next time on the Puck Boys podcast.
Spencer's the only one that lost.